Charge!
Hey, this is my guide on how to appraise rare and crafted rings in Diablo 2. I'm the Dwarf Lord, Doctor by day, Doctor of Diablo 2 by night. We're going to go over how we can appraise rings. I didn't come up with this method. This is a fairly well recognized and universal method. So, note, appraising's not easy. There's so many different items, different possibilities out there. Sometimes people get into bidding wars and pay stupid amounts of runes, items, or other currencies such as forum gold. People may be in search of something very, very, very specific and overpay like crazy. And also note that two 5-point rings, 6-point, 4-point, whatever point rings may be vastly different in value due to build popularity. The point system will be explained below. So here's how we do it. For a ring, and we're going to go over a bunch of rings and we're going to rate them together. For a ring, there are different lines of text for the mods. For every mod, you can award up to 1 point. 6 points is the maximum. Why? Because rare rings can have a maximum of 6 affixes. That's true for all rares, but we're doing rings today. We'll do other items another day. So rare rings can have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. Crafted rings have a maximum of 4 affixes, and that can be 2 and 2, 1 and 3, 3 and 1 of prefixes and suffixes. Here are a list of the most desired perfect ring mods. For prefixes, we have Platinum, which is your 120 attack rating, Bahamut's 90 mana, your Garnet, Cobalt, Coral, Jade, which is a 30 single resist, and Scintillating, which is 11 resist all. So those are your prefixes. Our suffixes are of the Apprentice, 10 FCR, of the Titan, 20 strength, of Precision, 15 dexterity, of the Mammoth, 40 life, of Regrowth, 9 replenish life, and of Excellence, 9 minimum damage. The 9 replenish life and 9 minimum damage, they're a little more niche, but replenish life can be useful on energy shield sorceresses, certain other duelers like replenish life. Minimum damage, fantastic on bosons, especially some barbs would like it as well, because it makes you do more damage. A note on blood rings. These spawn with static 1 to 3 life leech, 10 to 20 life, and 1 to 5 strength. So the rating formula is not perfect on blood rings. You know, are we going to rate a 20 life mod of the blood ring as 1 point, whereas we're rating 40 life as 1 point? Technically, it's perfect, so that's 1 point. So uh, blood rings are a little bit different, but we're going to sort of say that if you have a 60 life mod on a ring, 40 plus 20, 60, that's kind of like 2 points. Blood rings are a little bit more niche. Same thing for the strength. You know, if it's 5 strength plus 20 strength, that'd be like kind of like 2 points. So what's the best possible ring? Again, that's subject to what you need for your build. But the best caster ring, and we're going to go over melee rings after, the best caster ring would be like 10 FCR, 20 strength, 40 life, 90 mana, 41 fire resist because you have 30 plus 11, or some other resist. Fire resist is probably a little bit more desirable for people wearing spirit because that shield doesn't have fire resist, although sometimes people want cold resist on a ring when they're fighting a blizzard sorceress, or lightning resist against lightning sorceress or something, although often other pieces of equipment, circlets, etc., can be used to stack certain resistance that you need for a duel or charms, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Or maybe instead of that single resistance 120 attack rating, if it's going on a melee character like a BVC, like a teleporting barbarian, if you're not sure what that is. So that's kind of like the best of the best. What would the best crafted ring be? 10 FCR, 25 strength, maybe 60 life and 90 mana. Or if you don't need the mana, maybe you want the 11 life resist, or the 11 resist all. Like a druid, they might want just the strength, the life, and the resist all. Whereas an energy shield sorceress, they want that mana, and they don't care about maybe other stats. Maybe they don't care about having attack rating. They would rather have uh, 5 more strength than an attack rating mod or something else, for example. Anyways, 1 full point goes to perfect mods. If you have a mod that's 66% of a perfect mod, then you're going to um, award a full point for that. Even though it's maybe not totally perfect, a ring with 28 life, we're gonna give that 1 point. Half a point is gonna go to something that's like 33 to 66%. So, maybe you find a ring with 13 strength, and we're gonna give it half a point. Is 13 strength better than 7 strength? Of course. But you get the idea. These are just guidelines for uh, rating things. If your ring is like 3.5 points, maybe when your character is a week old, yeah, it's good, but otherwise it's Charsey material. You need basically 4 points to probably sell it to people. You know, FCR, some strength, some life, some resist all. If it doesn't have like the bare minimum, it's not worth it. 4.5 is good, 5 is great, 5.5 amazing, 6 points. You're never going to find that in your life. You'll probably never find a 5.5 ring. Let's go over examples. And some of these have prices. Rune Circle. So here's a very basic ring. We have 10 FCR, so we're going to rate that as 1 point. This is 1 point, and this is 1 point. Our 29 cold resist and 28 lightning resist. See how it's 40 cold resist? So we're just going to minus 11 and minus 11 from that and see the underlying cold resist. And then we've got 11 resist all. That's a perfect roll. So we know that that's 1 point. So this is 4 point ring. 2 strength is, it's better than 0 strength, but you can't really rate 2 strength. That's not. Would you take 2 strength over 0? Of course, but we're not going to really give that a point. So as far as rings go, sure, it's a 4-point ring. Someone might need this, but 3 points are tied up in resistances, so it is really lacking. Maybe there's a 4-point ring that's 10 FCR, 11 resist all, 15 strength, and 80 mana. Which one's better? Obviously the one I just fictitiously told you about. This one here, you have 3 points tied up into resistances. But hey, maybe you really need that. So it's just a cool ring. 4 points. At the time, this had an offer of 500 form gold, so about an ohm rune, maybe a little more, but you're not going to get like maybe too much more for that. Havoc Loop. So let's rate this bad boy. Whoop, we know this is 1 point. 95 attack rating is up there, so that's 1 point. 14 strength. Leave that for a second. 12 dexterity out of 15, 1 point. 20 lightning resist. So this is the 20 lightning resist and the 14 strength. They're kind of on the border. They're on like the low end of just about to award um, 1 point. So it's more like sure 14 strength technically is 1 point, but it's not as nice as 20 strength, which is also 1 point. And 20 LR, like I'll give it 5.5 just because the strength isn't as strong. Hee hee. And then 7 resist all. Um, it's tough to give that a full point. But we got a 5 point ring. It's a solid 5 point ring. Some people might rate it a little higher. Everything's subjective. Some people might rate it lower. But it's about a 5 point ring right here. Pretty cool, right? Doesn't have life, doesn't have mana, but it's got a lot of good stuff. Skullfinger. Ugh. Edgelord. This is a cool ring. 10 FCR is the 1 point. 1 point for the attack rating, 1 point for the strength. Nice big strength roll. Energy. We didn't talk about energy above. Only like an energy shield sorceress really likes energy. But it takes up an affix. The mana is low, like I can't even hardly give a half a point for that. And then I don't know, 0.25 for that. So it's like half a point together with two affixes. 1 point for the 28 fire resist. That, like I said before, 28 fire resist is really cool because if you're wearing spirit, that shield doesn't have fire resist. But the attack rating, like this is really starting to look like an energy shield sorceress ring, right? Though a barb could use it and make use of the attack rating, but the barb would probably also want dexterity. If this energy was dexterity, well, now we're talking. Now we got a really nice barb ring. But it's a decent ring either for an energy shield sorceress or a barb. But the barb is looking at these stats and be like, eh. And the energy shield sorceress is looking at this and be like, well, I don't need the attack rating. You crazy? So we're gonna give this 4.5. Maybe some people would rate it as 5. Again, it's all subjective. Uh, let's find one that has a price. Oh, how about this ring? I actually found this ring in the cows. So, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. So we're already off to a good start. 3 points. Lightning resist, there's a point. We'll give this half of a point. And poison resist, it's a good amount of poison resist. It's a point. However, poison resist isn't always the most desired resistance. If you're wearing Sandstorm Trex, which gives you so much poison resist, you might not be going crazy for poison resist. But hey, maybe it's good against poison necro or something. Um, Nonetheless, number wise, this is like a 5.5 ring, but 2.5 points are tied up in the resistances, so it becomes a little bit awkward. If this was just 11 resist all, 11 resist all, one mod does almost what 3 mods does, and then you could get like mana and attack rating or something else, dexterity on this ring, and then you won the lottery. So a cool ring. Technically, with the rating system, we give this 5.5, but there are other 5.5 rings out there that just blow this out of the water. So, yes, it's a 5.5 ring, but it doesn't feel like one. Now let's go over some melee rings. I know that this is in German. Nein zu min Schaden, nein zu Leben. I'm not going to try and speak German to you. This ring is the most valuable ring that I've showed you. At least there was a bidding war on this ring. 9 minimum damage, 1 point. Almost perfect roll, 1 off, 1 point. 2 life leech. We don't rate this really, but people in PVM use life leech. Um, this is 1 point, and then this is 1 point. I talked before about the 19 life roll on the blood rings. Are we going to rate this as 1 point? It's a near perfect roll, so we'll call it 1 point. You know, it's of the 10 to 20 roll on the blood ring, it's 1 point, but it's only 19 life. This ring had an offer, a bidding war offer of 18,000. However, I don't know if this ring actually sold for that. It's a cool ring. It's a pretty good ring. I don't think it's worth 18,000. There are 2 people bidding, and maybe things got out of hand, and then one guy retracted, and then is the other guy gonna keep his offer, or then maybe he retracts? Because, yeah, bidding wars. It's a thing. Pretty cool ring. Melee rings are not as popular as caster rings, but some people will pay a lot for a melee ring. Um, People who don't need FCR, Amazons, smiters. So a smiter would love, 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 love a ring with 25 strength, 14 dexterity, 60 life, and maybe resist all or something like that. Like a smiter would love that. So these rings can sell for a crazy amount. Here's another melee ring. So this has 4 max damage instead of the 9 minimum damage. The max roll on max damage is 5, so technically it would give us 1 point. It's less desirable than 9 minimum damage. We can give this a point. 1 point, 1 point. We don't really need mana, and then 1 point. So this is like a 5-point ring. Alright, so I know it's a lot of talking, but I hope this gave you some ideas of how rings get evaluated, okay?